Good morning, tribe. Sally here. Hope you're having an amazing and fascinating day. I know I am fairly early today. You're actually getting me with my hair still wet out of the shower. I'm still drinking coffee. The sun's up, but not very far. And I wanted to see if I could help you do what I managed to get done yesterday, and that was break my analysis paralysis when it comes to whether or not I needed roadside assistance. I've been mulling over this topic for actually about 4 years now, and just kept ignoring it and thinking, oh yeah, it'll be fine, it'll be fine. So let's talk about whether or not it'll be fine when we get into the video. In the meantime, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you taking your time to watch my videos. It really does mean a lot to me. And I've mentioned it before, I'm going to keep saying it right up front. My goal is to hit 5,000 subscribers this year, 2025, and I'm counting on you to help me get there. And I don't expect you to get there. I don't expect to get there without having provided good content. And so I hope that this is something that really resonates with you as well. If you haven't already, please do consider subscribing. Hit that thumbs up, leave a comment down below. We're going to roll the intro and then we're going to get right into this.
Wake up with the sun in our eyes. Sally forth, no need for goodbyes. Journey calls, let's roll the dice. Every mile a new surprise.
All right, welcome back. Thanks so much for being here. I started this analysis paralysis initially like 4 years ago before I was really even full time. I was traveling a lot, but I still lived in my house. And what it started with was, do I need an extended warranty for my RV? Because I thought I did. Based on what I was seeing from everybody else, I thought an extended warranty would be a great idea. And I did a rabbit hole dive into what that would look like, what it would cost, and ultimately decided it was not the thing for me. I would rather self-insure rather than pay a horrendously large price for a warranty like that. I think the quote I got about 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, was over $5,000 for an extended warranty that I can't remember what it covered, but it was like, no, just no. It didn't make that much sense to me. What I was overlooking, what I didn't know, was that what I really needed was a roadside assistance plan. I was still in the mode of, okay, fine, I'll self-insure if I have to. And I'm going to give you two examples that I've had in last year, one in, I think it was June, and the other in December, which would have made me wish I had done what I've done back then. But hindsight's 2020. And it didn't even occur to me during either of those incidents that it would have been a good idea to have a roadside assistance policy. So, first of all, when you think roadside assistance, what's the first thing you think? Well, for me, the first thing that I was thinking was, oh, towing. I don't plan to break down. Nope, I don't plan to break down. I mean, I do regular maintenance on my chassis, which is, the driving component. And it seems to me, I don't know, maybe I've been really lucky, but I don't remember ever having been towed off the road in my driving career since I was 16 years old. And holy moly, that's well over 50 years ago. Go figure. So I've avoided it. It's never been an issue. I've always had reliable vehicles and I've always taken care of them. And my feeling was the same. I don't really need towing. And hopefully I don't really need towing. But there are other things that roadside assistance does that I hadn't really thought about. And here are the two examples. So the first one was I got locked out of my rig at 8:30 at night in Coyote Creek campground in New Mexico, which, by the way, if you don't know, is in the middle of nowhere. I'll try and remember to put a link to the video up here or here. I never remember where it goes. So what happened? I walked out my door about 8:30 in the evening to go take Kid out for his last walk of the evening real quick. And I was only going 50 feet away from the rig over to the first patch of grass I came to. And I didn't take my phone and I didn't take my keys. And I came back to the rig and I went to open the door and I was locked out. I'm like, how on earth can that be? I didn't lock the door. It's crazy, I tell you, crazy. Well, the short version of that story is it turns out that the lock mechanism, the latching mechanism for the main lock portion broke. It's pot metal. It just broke, shattered. Yeah, well, not shattered, but cracked and came apart inside the housing. And so I couldn't get in. And I was traveling with a friend of mine. And fortunately, it wasn't too late because I went and knocked on her door and said, Houston, I got a problem. And we had sketchy signal there. We used her phone. We called and called and called. We finally found a locksmith in north of Trinidad, Colorado, which was basically 3+ hours away from where we were. So, short circuiting this, because you can go watch that video, he got there shortly after midnight, and it cost $700 for me to be able to get back into my rig. Now, the lesson I learned from that is don't walk out the door without carrying my keys. And the other lesson that I learned is I have a key ring that has my engine and cab door key, one key, and the other key is my main door key. That key ring, that's all that's on there. I automatically grab it as soon as I walk out the door now. I don't care if I'm not closing the door. If a gust of wind comes along and closes the door behind me, I don't want to be in the position where I've got a broken latch and can't get in. Make sense? And then I also grab my phone. So my phone and my keys anytime I'm walking out the door. Lesson learned. But didn't learn that lesson that night. I mean, it happened. Nothing I could do about it. It wasn't my fault. It was a broken mechanism, yada, yada, yada. $700. Keep that in mind. December 15th, I had been camping at a lovely boat launch at the very northern end of Key Largo in Florida. And I was planning to leave that morning to go down to Key West. And I turned on my TPMS sensor, and as it was connecting my TPMS monitor, as it was connecting to all the sensors, when it got to the left front um, wheel, it started alarming. And I looked at it and it said 10 psi. I said, that's not good because it was 75. Well, it was actually 83 when I stopped 2 days earlier because, they heat up when you run on them. And I shouldn't have lost all that air in 2 days if there wasn't something wrong with the tire. So I went out and looked at it and it was flat. Now, I carry a tire inflator with me so I can adjust my pressures as necessary. And I got the inflator out and it appeared to be taking air. I got it up to 75 psi, but I also knew that if I didn't have a tire problem, it wouldn't have gone down to 10 psi in 2 days. So I found a mobile tire guy who was about 15 miles away, located about 15 miles away in Homestead, Florida. He had another job to finish up. He said it's going to be a $150 service call fee if I can fix the tire. And if I can't, then, you'll have to get a new tire. I said, yeah, 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 I get it. So he got down there. Turns out it wasn't a tire problem at all. I'll try and remember to link that video. I think I've done that video someplace. Um, so yeah, so it turns out it wasn't a tire problem at all. It was a tire valve stem problem. My front tires still had valve stem extenders on them. Well, I'm gonna have 3 videos here for you. Um, I had the ones on the rears redone by America's Custom Tire in Quartzsite last year so that I don't have any extenders. I have solid metal valve stems that run from the rim all the way out to where I can get to them on the exterior of the tire with my tire sensors mounted. But I didn't do it on the fronts. Didn't occur to me. I'd never had an issue with those. When I get back to Quartzsite this year, I'm going to have those replaced as well. In fact, I started having trouble with the other one, and so I just took it off. I still had the one on the front left. We tightened it down, and it's fine. So that was $700 for the locksmith and $140 $150 for the mobile tire guy. That's $850 that I spent last year. That, oh, wait for it, would have been covered by roadside assistance. What? I had no idea. So how did I get into, and this is going to be fairly long-winded because I want to give you all the thought process. No, this is going to be fairly long-winded because everything I do is fairly long-winded. Thanks for hanging out. But I want to give you the thought process behind how I got here. So I got an email, I think on 3 or 4 days ago. I've been getting a lot of them from Good Sam, who administers my insurance policy, which is National General, but it's through Good Sam, which was $350 a year less than getting it through National General directly. So there you go. For me, and insurance is a whole different issue. We'll talk about that in a separate video. But I kept getting emails, 50% off roadside assistance. I'm like, yeah, 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 whatever. And then finally, a couple of days ago, I thought, all right, 50% off. Maybe it's worth it. So then I started diving into whether it was worth it or not. And I found out that there are a number of things that are covered, like lockout service. Okay, cool. I wouldn't have had to spend $700 on that locksmith. Depending on what kind of plan you get, you may have a deductible, could be up to $100, but even so, $100 would have been a whole lot better than $700. $100 would have been better than $150 for the mobile tire guy, right? So I looked at Good Sam, and I wasn't terribly impressed. And I don't even remember what the price was. But what I discovered was that there are a whole lot of exclusions. And one of the biggest exclusions apparently is that you don't have coverage unless you are involved in a collision with another vehicle. What? Okay, well, that doesn't really do me much good because I don't ever plan to be involved in a collision with another vehicle. I don't plan to be there. On the other hand, last week when I was in Midland, Texas, I almost got creamed twice in under a mile. It was pretty scary, actually, by vehicles that were coming at me from the right, running, in the first case, a traffic light, which was very, very green for me, and in the other case, a stop sign. I said, really? I wanted out of there. It was very dangerous. Don't know why, just the way it is. So I started looking at Good Sam, and I wasn't real pleased with what I was seeing in terms of what they were offering. And then I started looking at videos. One of the YouTube channels that I follow is RV Miles. RV Miles is a great guy, Jason Epperson. He does newscasts, all related to the RV industry. And he had done a video about um, roadside assistance and talked about what they choose, which is actually what I ended up choosing and why. And I watched another video that talked about some of the exclusions and so forth. Can't remember which one that was. Um, anyway, I looked at Good Sam. I looked at AAA, which is a no-go. I already knew that. I had many, many years ago, I had AAA coverage because that's what you did for your car, right? And I had the RV policy, which was very expensive comparatively. I think it was like $120 even 10 years ago. More than that, because I was still with my ex. Much more than that. Um, but they have a lot of limitations too. Like they won't pick you up if you're not on a paved road. A lot of the policies don't provide winch out service. So if you went off the road and you need to be winched out to get back on the road to get towed even, they don't cover that. So you got to really look at what all the exclusions are and then make your choice accordingly. So Good Sam, AAA. The third one is called Safe Ride, which was pretty good. And that's offered both through Escapees and FMCA, which is, if it hasn't already changed names, it's going to. It's no longer going to be Family Motor Coach Association. I think it's going to be FRVA because they've opened it up to everybody, not just motor coaches. But I digress, as I do so frequently. So what was the right choice for me? The right choice for me, which happens to be the same one that RV Miles was talking about, and in fact, this guy in the other video that I watched, did a bunch of other research still that I won't bore you with. The right choice for me is CoachNet, and it's not cheap. So I'm going to give you a couple of reasons why I chose CoachNet, and well, I'm going to tell you how much it costs first. It's $179 for a towable RV, like a travel trailer or a fifth wheel or a pop-up, and it's $249 for a drivable RV. Now, apparently they have even a higher level of coverage that has to be purchased through a dealership. I didn't think it was necessary to do that. And I also went out and searched, and I'll give you this hint too. I found a coupon code, promo code, SAVE10, SAVE 10, got me $10 off. So I paid $239 for my first year. And I think that the price goes down as each year goes by. I don't know that for sure at this point. So what are some important factors? All right, so we're talking about the Premier plan, okay? The other plan, the more expensive one, is called the Ultimate plan. Um, and I couldn't find any pricing on that. Don't really care. I don't think it's necessary, at least for me. So covers all the vehicles that you're in, which is a great thing. Now, I also have Moto, MOTOW, through the American Motorcyclists Association, which costs me $39 a year, and that does the same thing. I think it even includes RVs, but I can't remember what the limitations are on that. And I don't really want to take a chance on being able to have the coverage that I need when it comes down to towing. Because the other issue with towing is that most of these companies have huge limitations, like they'll tow you within 100 miles and then they're done. So the Premier plan with CoachNet says services include towing, flat tire assistance, fluid delivery, jump starts, lockout service, mobile mechanic, appointment assistance, and much more. And one of the things with the towing is that they will take you to the nearest qualified service location. So they're not going to just drop you at like the first RV dealer that they come to. They have to be able to deal with the issue that you're having an issue with. And I heard about somebody uh, who had a situation where they got dropped at a location, but because they weren't drivable, the tow company came back the next day when the service area opened and towed them into the service bay. So that's pretty cool. Um, they also include and this is kind of, I think, really pretty important, a 24/7 RV technical assistance hotline with trained representatives and certified techs that can guide you through many common technical and operational issues that you might experience. So whether you're new to the RV lifestyle or a seasoned veteran, the hotline can provide, valuable peace of mind coverage wherever you go. I mean, that can be really useful for me when something goes wrong and I can't quite figure out what the issue is. Getting a hint that points me in the right direction, that can be pretty important. It includes travel assistance services, and this is really cool because this gets rid of a whole bunch of expenses and covers another insurance that I had been thinking about, which was AirMed. AirMed is actually the company in this case that provides the service, but I had been thinking about getting one of the air ambulance services, which I think you can get for like as little as about $80 a year, but that's included with CoachNet. And basically the deal is as long as you are 150 miles or more from your home base, and you need medical air transport as determined by your doctor, they will transport you. And if there is space available, anybody else that you're traveling with. And it also provides return service for your RV. Because what would it be like to be, on the other side of the country from where you need to be for medical services? You get flown to the other side of the country, but your RV is still sitting back where you started from. That'd be kind of tough. But in this case, you can get your RV removed or returned as well. So I think that's a really good deal. And then there's some other stuff that they offer too, which includes the emergency roadside assistance. It will be also direct to campsite service. They also have a nationwide tire delivery service, certified RV technical assistance hotline, RV service appointment assistance. I'm not quite sure what that does. Emergency trip interruption. So that's when, let's say you've got an issue where you end up needing to get towed, or you lose the use of your RV and need to be towed. Um, Trip interruption covers things like hotels or campgrounds, if you can still get into a campground, meals, travel costs, rental cars, that kind of stuff. Most companies have a policy where, and I'm making numbers up here, but for example, it might be $30 a day for a rental car and $50 a day for meals and $100 a day for um, a hotel up to 5 days. With CoachNet, it's, I think, 2000, it might be 1,200 or $2,000 split up among the categories, but it's not per day. So let's say, for example, you get a $20 camping cabin one night, and the next night you need a $150 hotel room. Well, both of those are covered. Whereas if you've got a per day coverage of like $100 a day, well, neither of those days would be covered because you'd lose $80 worth of benefit on the first day, and you'd have to pay an additional $50 worth of benefit on the second day. Make sense? So what else do we get? Trip planning, I don't know what that looks like yet. Travel assistance services, don't know exactly what that is either. It says it's got concierge service and then discounts on camping, hotels, motels, vehicle rentals, online shoppings, RV products, RV tires. So a lot of the standard stuff that pretty much goes with everything. Um, but from all the research that I could do, I decided to go with CoachNet, and I actually initiated my membership yesterday. And I don't have all, sorry, a little itchy. I don't have all of the details yet because I didn't actually get the policy yet. But I do have my membership number, so if something happened when I leave today, I can still get coverage. And so I'm really, really glad that I did it for $250 a year, $240 since I got $10 off. Um, it's peace of mind that makes me feel much better about some of the places that I travel. And part of the reason I hadn't bothered to do it before was I knew about limitations for being off of paved roads and so forth. I'm often off of paved roads. If I'm out camping, I don't want to be on a paved road. I don't want to be in an RV park or an RV resort. I want to be out in the middle of nowhere. So it's nice to know that I've got coverage when that happens. Anyway, that's my story. Hope you got something out of it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And as always, we'll see you next time. Bye for now.